The Section 194 Committee in Parliament has come under scrutiny as tensions between the chair and Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane's advocate to continue to simmer. Now, this week saw what some of the MPs called a threat against the chair and called for an investigation into Advocate Dali Mpofu's conduct. And of course, there's been varying, reaction to this particular move. Let's then speak to the chair of the Section 194 Enquiry into Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane's fitness to hold office, Mr. Qubudile Richard, who joins us live now. Adv Dyantyi, thank you so much for your time this evening. Let's start with your impressions. A lot of people have said so much about what is going on with the inquiry that you are leading, be it from, you're doing well and you're unearthing what you need to do, but others say, no, there are still some areas of concern. Let's talk about your overall impressions. How's your work unfolding?
Thank you, Bongiwe, and good evening to you and the viewers of 404. Thank you for having us this evening. My overall impressions, Bongiwe, is that the work that we're doing is a pioneering work. We started this work with no reference of any other committee having done this, and we knew from the start that once we take off, there was always going to be turbulence. And our resolve and what would have helped us is that we said our ammunition is going to be how we are rational, how we fair, how we make sure that we do this within time. So far, my overall impression is that we are now left with one witness. Of the witnesses we have identified as the committee and the evidence leaders to complete what I call phase one. And thereafter, after this witness on Wednesday, we will be then expecting the public protector to take the stand and any other witnesses that she would like to assist her in the evidence that she's going to place in the committee. Thank you for the feedback to those that are saying we are on course, we are doing this well, probably beyond our expectations. For those who are disappointed, we can only try and be better in this process.
I would like you to listen to someone who's expressed disappointment, who's in the committee that you are leading. I was speaking to him last night. That's ATM President, Mr. Vuyolwethu Zungula, and I'm keen to hear your thoughts after this one.
So what happened yesterday was a clear sign that that chairperson of that committee is biased. That chairperson of that committee has got a clear outcome and is going to do whatever it is in his power to make sure that the committee goes as directed to the outcome that he wants, which is to find Advocate Mkhwebane, incompetent.
He was referring to that heated exchange that we saw between yourself and Advocate Dali Mpofu, and he says you appear to have a predetermined outcome.
Well, the records and the performance will prove him wrong, because the very first meeting of this committee, I led from the front as a chair and I said there are twin outcomes we are looking for. We want to have evidence that is going to assist us to help exonerate the public protector, but we're also looking for evidence that is going to also help us to make findings on the charges of fitness to hold office. And so what would have happened yesterday, on Tuesday, was really a sideshow in relation to the importance of this committee, the fact that this committee is important firstly to the public protector and that institution, because it is about how that institution is seen, but it's also important for the role we play as parliamentarians. This is our constitutional oversight role that we are playing, and we've got to take it seriously. He has obviously not been happy about some of the rulings, which did not go into his favor. I understand that, but nothing can take from the fact that we have been very committed to drive a very fair and rational process. And I'm convinced that we're halfway there.
Is there no love lost between you and Advocate Dali Mpofu? What's going on there?
I don't know, Bongiwe. All I know is that Advocate Dali Mpofu is an advocate leading the team of the public protector. He has to do what he has to do to defend her, to cross-examine witnesses with the purpose of one thing in mind, which I understand in his point of exonerating the public protector. I'm chairing that commission. I'm the chair of that inquiry. I'm the chair of the committee. And so I play a role of making sure that everybody else receives fairness. There's nothing personal. I've not known him before this inquiry. Would have known him from a distance. So there can't be anything that is personal. And I think if he does think there are personal things here, I think I would want to assist him to know that here we're involved in a parliamentary process that is an exercise in accountability for one of the heads of the Chapter 9 institution, and I can't be personal in dealing with that.
Let's talk about something else that could potentially be coming your way, and this is an application to have you recuse yourself from this particular committee. And, you know, I'm going to borrow here from what Advocate Mpofu was saying to EWN as they are quoting him, but after his behavior, which I've never seen in my entire life, of wanting to proceed with something when someone is ill, I seriously have never seen any situation like that where someone has a medical certificate and some chairperson says, no, we are going to go ahead. So through all of it then, it was clear that the time to carry out the recusal issued and face him now as unfit has come. You may have an application to recuse yourself. Should you be asked to do so, will you do it, or are you going to be defending it?
We will welcome the team of the public protector exercising their rights about their own happiness. We'll attend to the issue of the application when it reaches us. I don't want to cross that bridge now. But what I can say about Tuesday is that Advocate Mpofu would have wanted the committee session to be postponed on the basis that he was going to court, and therefore our attitude was that there's no way that we could postpone a meeting in the middle of cross-examination of a witness, and that in any way what he was asking for Tuesday is only happening tomorrow. The issue of the public protector, the certificate would have arrived even after our meeting. I would have asked him whether there was an apology for the public protector. He says, no, there's no apology. And so he can't mix the two issues about the meeting or the denial. Was he said he was not ready to cross-examine. And I granted him that we're not going to force him to cross-examine if he's not ready, but that members were ready to ask the questions, and I allowed them, which is their duty to do that. Certainly, Advocate Mpofu can't create an emergency for themselves and hope that the committee is going to have a crisis arising out of that emergency. We can't work like that.
As a final question then, in about 30 seconds, there are those who are saying you have a heavy-handed approach, and Vuyoletu was one of those yesterday, saying that you have a heavy-handed approach and sometimes you do not even give, you know, Advocate Dali Mpofu a chance to respond, or even some of the other MPs to make their own points, to put their own points across, and you may not be giving them sufficient time. How do you respond to, you know, those who are saying that you're also heavy-handed?
I am a very fair, but I'm also a very firm person. I've got lots of patience, but it's also important that we focus, we're not all over the place, and when it comes to those issues of relevance to the work that we're doing, so that we don't bring anything else that is not relevant, I become very focused on that. Whether he calls that heavy-handedness, I don't know.
All right, Mr. Dyantyi, we appreciate your time this evening. Thank you so much for speaking to us. That was Committee Chair for the Section 194 Inquiry into Public Protector Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane's fitness to hold office, Qubudile Richard Dyantyi.